Excited is an understatement. The presence of God, I just got to brag on God for a moment. The presence of God was revealed, was felt, was experienced on our Zoom last night for Married to Purpose. I mean, Holy Spirit always shows up. Those who are a part of it can attest to that. But a few weeks ago, as I was in prayer for Married to Purpose, covering our call, I spoke out a date and I kind of caught myself in prayer, like, where did that come from? Why did that date leave my mouth? I was speaking about August 22nd, but I was sensitive enough to recognize, like, I didn't mean to say that. I don't know why I said it, but I'm gonna put it out there. I was like, I don't know what that means. Y'all jot it down. I'll write it down. But anywho, and I proceeded with the prayer. Last night, he confirmed what that was. And oddly enough, today is August 22nd. I have shared before that God will give you assignments to start, to build, to put your hands to the plow, to do things to bring him glory, things that are part of your purpose. Sometimes, like Ecclesiastes 3, it talks about a time to do everything. Sometimes God will give you the blueprint, give you the steps, and he will see it through from start to finish. Then there are other times that he gives you the blueprint and the steps and he has you start it and put your hands to the plow and begin to build it, but then he has you put it down and walk away from it. Some people will put their assignments down in disobedience. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when the Lord has you start something, it's not completed yet, but he's leading you to put it down. You don't know why. He's not giving the explanation. You're just supposed to flow with him and obey. Last night, I was able to release the Married to Purpose, and now I'm sharing with you guys my second book. Gosh, just to even say that has been released. This particular time around, he told me to do it in the ebook. I don't know if I'll publish it or do it for Amazon Kindle like I did my other one. I'm not sure. I'm just being obedient with how he's leading. For those of you who have purchased my first book, Pray and Obey, I wrote that book in 2020, the beginning of 2020. That was pre-pandemic. That book was written about my marriage when I had not, hear when I say this, that book was written about my marriage when I had not yet known if God was going to restore my marriage. So I was writing that out of obedience. God, you got me putting my business on Front Street. I don't even know if you're going to restore it. Like, you haven't given me confirmation, but yet you have me writing about it. And I was in ministry about it as well. That has been successful. I just got finished signing a bunch of copies to send out. December of 2020, he had me write another book, which is the one that I'm speaking about. It's called Heaven's Love Story. It's Worth the Fight. That book was written while I was in Purpose, but all hell broke loose after giving God my yes, after being obedient, after trusting God, after walking with God. Like, things got worse after I wrote Pray and Obey. I speak about how God will have you in purpose. And if you're standing for marriage restoration, like, all hell could be breaking loose. You will have given God your yes. You're obeying God. You're trusting God. You're walking with God. And he allows things to get worse than they were prior to you saying yes, prior to you turning your marriage or your child or your ministry, your health, like whatever that looks like, prior to you turning it over to God. It looks like he's not in control. It looks like God don't know what he's doing. It looks like he's not in it. It looks like you heard him wrong. Like, I speak about a lot of the behind the scenes of what it looks like saying yes to God, serving God. And I don't mean you just said yes. I mean, like, almost a year has gone by. Lord, I've been faithful. I feel like our relationship is one-sided. I've been doing everything you've asked me to do, and yet you allow more to happen, like worse to happen after I obeyed doing what you told me to do. Let me put it like this. My ministry for the last 5 years, I have been obedient with ministering from Mount Sinai. As of last night, as of today, I have been released from Mount Sinai to be able to speak from Mount Zion. I'm not even going to go into detail about the differences in those two mountains. That's your homework to do with Holy Spirit. I'm not saying I've been released from it as if I won't still share it, because that is still part of my ministry. It's part of my story. It's part of my testimony. But now I've been upgraded to speak now with restoration from Mount Zion. But I'm talking about a lot of the backside with waiting for restoration, but still walking with God, walking in purpose, being obedient, trusting God. And it looks like all hell is breaking loose even more. So I go into even more detail of what that looks like on the backside of the mountain, what you can expect, because some of you that I'm assigned to, God will have you walk while bleeding. God will have you serving while you're still in prison, like you're the key to someone else's prison while you're in prison. You're someone else's light while you're in darkness. That's just how God operates sometimes. That's not everybody's story, but I do know my assignment, and I do know how I've been led to those that, again, I'm assigned to and are assigned to me. I'm so emotional about Heaven's Love Story because it kind of took a turn when I started it. I started it in December of 2020. I completed it maybe summer of 21. I didn't think it was complete yet because I was under the assumption God was going to take it a different way. I'm not going to speak about that yet because I haven't been released to share that. I was under the assumption he was going to take it a different way, but I do know he told me to lay it down. It's been laid down and like dormant for 3 years, and I finally got the okay to share it. Be okay sometimes when God has you doing something and you know you're in obedience and alignment with what he's telling you to do, but then all of a sudden he's like, put it down, walk away from it, let it go, turn it over, lay it at my feet, stop it. Like, it doesn't always have to make sense. Why did we just abruptly stop? I've learned to not ask so many questions, just go with the flow. I didn't think it would be 3 years later, but here we are today. There's sometimes I felt like God forgot about me. There are times I felt like he forgot what he promised me. There are times I forgot some of the things I had begged and pleaded and hoped for. I never knew. I thought maybe that assignment, that was just him testing my obedience, having me start something. I started it. He never said anything more to do with it, but I never wanted to move in haste. I never wanted to move based on assumption. I never wanted to, okay, he must just want me to go ahead and print this, publish this. I would have been out of alignment. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I would have been prematurely pushing something that it wasn't the time for, it wasn't the season for. God wouldn't have got the glory that he required from that. God would not have blessed that if it was not the way he wanted to do it. We have to understand, y'all, whatever God has promised us, he gives us these promises, these downloads, instructions. In order to see the outcome, you have to do it his way. You have to follow his directions, his instructions, his timing, his ways, his methods. We can't get a blueprint from God, build it our way, and expect it to look like what he showed us in that dream or what he's been revealing to our heart. No, it will only look like this if you follow my way of doing it. And his way, many times, almost every time, will not make any sense. It will not look right. It will not feel right. It'll be everything that contradicts what he said. I know this read will bless you. This is kind of a continuation from Pray and Obey for those of you guys who have gotten a copy of Pray and Obey. But I will say it goes deeper than Pray and Obey. It really goes, because Pray and Obey was already written in snot and tears. I'm surprised y'all don't see my tear stains on those pages. But Heaven's Love Story, it's like Pray and Obey cranked up. I had no idea that when I completed Pray and Obey in obedience, he was going to turn that fire up 7 times hotter while I was writing Heaven's Love Story. Had I known that was what was in store for me, I would not have given God my yes. No, you can have this, your marriage, your son, you can have it all. This book, this assignment, I don't want it. He wouldn't let me quit if I wanted to. There was plenty of times I threw the towel and he threw it back at me. Plenty of times I grumbled and complained. Plenty of times I despised my assignment. Plenty of times I went back and forth with God. I was wrestling with God. I was tussling with God. Okay, now I want it. Now I don't. Now I'm ready. Now I'm not. I've been there. I operated in double-mindedness. My faith was wavering. So many times I suffered from hope deferred made the heart sick. My heart was infected at that point. But I couldn't fully give up like I wanted to. I wanted to give up, but something kept me at his feet. Something kept me coming back. And we know that something is Holy Spirit, but it kept me coming back. He kept me at the Lord's feet. He kept me curious enough. I felt like Jacob. It was like, I ain't letting you go until you bless me. I done went through all this. I'm holding on to the hem of your garment, and I am not going to let you go until you bless me. I've suffered, I've lost, I've cried, I've been broken, I've been confused, I've misunderstood, I've been misunderstood, I've been betrayed, I've been lied on, I've been all of that. Oh, you gonna bless me? Like, that's the type of posture that I had, still in a respectful way. But I was like, no, I ain't go through all this for nothing. You can go, thank you, Holy Spirit, to heavenslovestory.com, or you could just click the link in my bio. I have been cheesing since last night. Married to Purpose, you guys know we left that call full. I was cheesing in my sleep. I was cheesing at the gym this morning. I'm cheesing now. I'll be cheesing all day. Like, God is just good, good.